For Telesur, I'm Cody Weddle in Caracas. Our top story takes us to the UN General Assembly in New York, where Iranian President Hassan Rouhani says the rise of extremism in the Middle East is an effect of ongoing Western military intervention in the region. Included in those groups are the Islamic State militants in Iraq and Syria. His comments were seen as a veiled reference to United States and Israeli actions in the region.
Certain states have helped creating it and are now falling to withstand it. Currently, our peoples are paying the price. Today's anti-Westernism is the offspring of yesterday's colonialism. Today's anti-Westernism is a reaction to yesterday's racism. Certain intelligence agencies have put blades in the hand of madmen, who now spare no one. All those who have played a role in founding and supporting these terror groups must acknowledge their errors.
The 69th General Assembly of the United Nations continued today with addresses by various world leaders. The threat of ISIS and Ebola have continued as the focus of the speeches by heads of state, as well as criticism of U.S.-led military operations in Iraq and Syria. British Prime Minister David Cameron tried to justify his country's participation in the airstrikes against ISIS. Turkish President Tayyip Erdogan has blamed the inaction of the UN for the killing of innocent people. His country has received over 1.5 million refugees. Jorge Gestoso from New York has the latest.
The subjects of today's session soon to be the threat of ISIS, Ebola, and the conflict of Ukraine. The president of Iran, Hassan Rouhani, was the second speaking. He was putting emphasis that the solution of all the crises in the region has to come from the region and not from the outside. President Santos of Colombia was talking, also was doing it at the end of the morning. The president of Peru, Ollanta Humala, in the afternoon, the president of Panama, who was talking. President Obama was discussing Ebola early in the morning, and then he flew back to Washington, where at 4 o'clock he's going to be announcing the resignation of the Attorney General Eric Holder. Jorge Gestoso from the UN.
And thanks to Jorge, Iraqi Prime Minister Haider al-Abadi says terrorist plots targeting the United States and France have been unveiled. Al-Abadi says that he received specific details of the attacks through extremists arrested. Abadi says the attacks were planned from inside Iraq by the Islamic State. The Prime Minister says that the names, dates, and cities of planned attacks was obtained after arrest in the Iraqi capital. Baghdad intelligence officials said they have shared the information with their Western allies and that they are conducting further investigations. U.S. and French officials met the comments with surprise and cautious skepticism. Authorities in Paris and New York have enforced new security measures in all transportation systems. The two main Palestinian factions, Hamas and Fatah, have reached an agreement to allow the Palestinian Authority government to operate in the war-ravaged Gaza Strip. Following a two-day meeting in Cairo, they agreed that the unity government run by President Mahmoud Abbas would take control of the Gaza Strip. The deal is designed to ease the blockade of Gaza by Israel and Egypt and open the way to reconstruction.
اليوم وبتشكيل حكومة التوافق الوطني نعلن إنهاء ونهاية الانقسام الذي ألحق بقضيتنا الوطنية أضرارا كارثية طوال السنوات السبع الماضية.
U.S. Attorney General Eric Holder announced his resignation today at the White House. Holder did not reveal why he was resigning. He defended his term as Attorney General.
Stopping Ebola is a priority for the United States. I've said that this is as important a national security priority for my team as anything else that's out there. We'll do our part. We will continue to lead, but this has to be a priority for everybody else. We cannot do this alone. We don't have the capacity to do all of this by ourselves.
And obviously, we have the wrong sound there. In the U.S., and now we're going to go for the latest update on the ongoing Colombian peace talks between the government and the FARC guerrilla group. For the latest, we go to our correspondent Charles Parkinson in Bogota.
At a press conference given yesterday at 5 p.m. local time in Havana, Colombia's government, led by Chief Negotiator Humberto de la Calle, announced some of the achievements that have been made so far during peace negotiations with the FARC. He addressed the 3 points on which the two teams have so far agreed, those being land reform, political participation, and the issue of drugs. Now, there are many extremely interesting points that came out of what Della Calle said, but perhaps one of the most interesting was a commitment between the two teams that the links between politics and drugs must be brought to an end. Now, that essentially means that the government has committed itself to dismantling the paramilitary organisations that continue to terrorise many parts of Colombia. Finishing his speech, Humberto de la Calle emphasised the fact that nothing is agreed until everything is agreed. So Colombia must now wait for a final agreement to be made. Charles Parkinson in Bogota, Colombia.
And thanks to Charles. India's Mars Orbiter mission spacecraft Mangalyaan has successfully sent its first images of the red planet. The photos show an orange surface and dark holes taken from a height of over 4,500 miles. The mission is designed to search for evidence of life on the planet. It has catapulted the Asian country into an elite club of deep space explorers.
And separated from the vehicle and subsequently.
As always, more on those stories and others at our website, telesurtv.net/English. For Telesur English, I'm Cody Weddle. We'll see you right back here tomorrow.